How it goes, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hope you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Just going to be on for a little bit tonight. Talk about one particular topic in particular, and it's the good question: are you happy with your life? Not only just that, are you really living your life on your own terms? Now, I bring this subject matter up because today was a day that I heard a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, complaining about not only where they work, they were complaining about their schedule, they were complaining about the location of where they work at, they were complaining about the fact that they can't get a raise, they were complaining about the fact that it was just a complaint fest. It was a whining zone. I'd like to keep a sign up that says no whining zone. And it made me say to myself, well, let me do some research on this matter. And the thing that I find very interesting and very fascinating is that a lot of people are not very content with living their life on their boss's terms. That's the best way to put it. A lot of people they worked very hard to get to a certain level in life, and then when they finally get there, it's that old saying, "Be careful what you wish for; you just might get it." Well, unfortunately, a lot of people have done that with their lives. They got the degree, they got the house, they got the car, but they're not fulfilled. And a lot of those old sayings is, do you? We see a lot of times with celebrities that I always like to use them as the best example. Celebrities, even some certain instances, politicians, people in big major corporations, the big head CEOs, they got all the money in the world, very, very depressed, very, very lonely. I mean, list goes on and on. They're not fulfilled in their life and where they want to be and where they want to go. And they drink, as I always say, they had a Jim Jones moment where they drank the Kool-Aid, but because they drank the Kool-Aid of certain things of what society told them to do in life, that they are unfulfilled in what they've done. They have a tremendous amount of student loan debt. They they every day that they get up, they're trading time for money, and they're not learning how that they can so that they can actually trade money for time. That's one thing that's unfortunate, but a lot of people have had to learn the hard way, and even myself included. When it boils down to a lot of certain things in life, to where one's destination is at, and where one is actually trying to go. You know what I mean? And I believe that we should all do our darndest to work as hard as we can to not only just take in the kind of what they call normal education, but do our darndest to take in is kind of any sort of education that we can receive on a regular basis, outside of the day-to-day grind of our jobs, outside the day-to-day grind uh, of actual educational institutions or whatnot. But anyways, like I said, I rant about this subject matter because I just find it interesting, because I believe a lot of people are not only are a lot of people not living in their purpose, but a lot of people are just living their life on their boss's terms, to where they can't get a leg up in life, and they can't move forward in life, and they're very, very stagnated. And with the cost of living going up as it is, a lot of people are putting themselves in positions, whether they're upper working class, middle class, poor. Everybody's being put in this specific same box. The ones that aren't making calculated economic decisions, the ones that aren't constantly educating themselves and taking action, because we live in a time frame where there's a bunch of information at our fingertips, but a lot of people they're still in their comfort zone, and they're still scared to take that action, to take that. And I swear, everybody swears up and down that everything is a scam nowadays. But I remember hearing from Dinah Samir on Search for a Hulu channel. He said, and I quote, that jobs are a pyramid scheme. He said that corporate America is a pyramid scheme. I was like, it's interesting concept. Do I fully agree with that? I think it depends on the context of one situation. I don't think jobs are quote unquote a pyramid scheme, but I will say they can become a pyramid scheme if one allows them to. It's the beautiful thing about America is you have an opportunity to make things happen. But if you just drink the Kool-Aid that everyone serves to you and you don't create your own, or look at the best beverage to consume, then you might be put in a position where you are stuck, like Chuck, going old school with it, and go from there. And actually, a post I saw from my brother Michael Alexander, he has his own business, Bit Forex business going on. He's doing very well. Photo says, "Teach the masses that their 9 to 5 is a real pyramid." Interesting. So it starts at the top, CEO, second, president, third, vice presidents, fourth, middle management, fifth, team leaders / supervisors, and at the bottom, hardworking employees with virtually no chance of becoming the CEO. So and a lot of people have the mindset of that's why a lot of times jobs can become a pyramid scheme. I mean, myself, I think certain jobs can be if you allow it to. It's like it's up to everyone's individual mindset, what they do. Because the thing is like what you do on your job is what your boss says you have to do. But when you get off of work, that's a whole different conversation for another day. And a lot of people, like I always say, a lot of people want to binge on social media playing around. They want to binge on Netflix playing around, but they don't want to binge on working on themselves. The one thing I could say that college taught me is to be able to be disciplined in regards to getting certain things done and getting certain assignments done. Work taught me that, my parents taught me that growing up and whatnot, discipline. That's the beautiful thing about the people who do join the military, who are part of a civil service or law enforcement entities, medical profession. You're taught to be not only on time, but you're taught to be very professional. You're taught to work under high pressure, very stressful situations. And a lot of times people can take that training and life experience to help them become very successful. Another reason why a lot of athletes, and I'll just talk about the athletes, are very great entrepreneurs because they are taught to push through pain. They know what it's like to win. They know what it's like to lose. And at the end of the day, that's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's a winning and losing situation. That's capitalism. It's a winners and losing situation. Sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're going to lose. But you live to fight another day, right? And that's why a guy like Mike Tyson owns his own marijuana ranches, for God's sakes. That's why, a lot of other athletes, they have their own companies. They own a multitude of real estate because they've been they know how to. That's why Floyd Mayweather is where he's at today, because he was very disciplined in regards to his workouts. And now he's very disciplined in regards to how he makes money moves. And I think discipline is a very big key. And now he's living life for the most part on his terms and not living on others. He lived on, his life on the terms of, as when he was a quote unquote professional boxer, even though he still is. But now he's more of a boss and he boxes when he wants to, not because he has to. And that's what really, really boils down to creating that kind of lifestyle. Because, a lot of people make a lot of money, but they blow it. But when, Mike Tyson's a great example of the comeback kid. That's why I always love because he had his financial issues. He came back and he's nothing. He's a winner. And I got nothing but love and respect for that man, especially because of the life he lived, the shady people he had around. That's what I said. The people that you have around you is very, very important. Very, very important. The relationships you build on a regular basis, very, very important. So that's why I go into that, because a lot of people, and I'll just say this. I think I said this the other day, and I'll say this again. Growing up in the DMV, and being an adult in the DMV the last 10 to 15 years, I've seen, if you don't know what that's at, Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland area, it's all connecting via the Potomac River. I've noticed a lot of people live in this area because they have to, not because they want to. A lot of people, the way that they make money, it's really on their boss's terms, not on their own terms. The lifestyle that they build looks great on social media, but when you go to the overpriced house with the nice garages and cars and whatnot, you see a house of misery. When I got to connect again with my boy Dominic out in LA. And I haven't seen him in like since 2014. Yeah, real great guy. And he transformed his life from living in Woodbridge, Virginia to living in Los Angeles. And my man looked happy. And I got nothing but love and respect for that. And he even told me, I feel like I'm living my life now on my terms compared to when I was living in Virginia. I was trying to live my life on other people's terms, and I was not happy. And that at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. A lot of people have passed away. Once again, rest in peace to DMX and Black Rob. I hope in their final moments on this earth, they could look back at their life and say they had a good one. I want everybody to be able to say that when they pass away. Not only just go out of their way to, be as healthy as possible, but definitely, and that's another reason, because so many people have passed away. And that's why I bring this topic up, because so many people have passed away within the last year. Great people, had Tiny Zeus Lester, Debo from Friday, it's been crazy. And with that being said, it's like this last year, it's given a lot of people a lot more time to think. So it's like I said, are you really living your life on your own terms? Or are you still living your life on your boss's terms? That is the question. That is the question. And only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question for you, because everyone, and let me know if in the comment section, if you are, or if you want to live your life on your terms, not your boss's terms. And what are you trying to actually do to change the situation? That's the thing. It's like, what are you doing when you get off of work every day? What are you doing before work? Sometimes it's like certain situations, certain people actually need to do, they're at their best early, first thing in the morning. All right. Nighttime comes, they're like, they just want to turn their brain off. They're not the best. Some people are at their best late at night, when it comes to their ideas and the things that they want to do and implement and whatnot, so I think it's very interesting, but another reason why, because after hearing all these people today, was just that day that everybody wanted to complain about any and everything. I actually said, well, let me do some research. And, there was a People's Metric study surveyed employees across the United States, and actually found tech workers the most satisfied in the transportation industry, and Gen Z as the least. I find that very interesting. Because Gen Z is right behind my generation, the millennial generation, but tech workers are the most satisfied. And the only reason why I can say that tech workers are the most satisfied. Now, I haven't gone into the article yet, but the only reason why I would say that is for one reason in particular. Because if you work in the tech industry, the beautiful thing about the tech industry, if you do it right, obviously, after you saw my IT panel and I got the perspectives of actual 2 certified technical professionals with years of experience, you can live darn near anywhere in the world as long as there's, internet access. You can live darn near anywhere in the world and make a great freaking living in the tech industry. So, like I said, it's very normal for people who work in the tech industry. They live in foreign countries. Well, a lot of times, some people want to live out in the middle of nowhere. So they'll go move to Montana or the rural woods of Pennsylvania or the backwoods of Mississippi or Louisiana. And they couldn't be more content. They work from home. I remember working with a guy, he just retired from the military, and he got himself a job working as a self-employed contractor with and actually working out of West Texas, even though the job is supposed to be based in the DMV area, but he wanted to be able to work wherever he wanted to work. And he says, well, his goal was to live in West Texas, and he actually got a job working as a self-employed contractor with the Department of Homeland Security. And I see him on Facebook, and my man looks happier. He couldn't be happier than ever. And he even put on, and this is another reason why I want to talk about this, because he's like, I'm living my life on my own terms, not my boss's terms. Not Uncle Sam's terms. That's what he said. He said, I could not be happier for my life that I had in the military to my life that I have now. And that's what it really boils down to. You work hard for something, you work towards something so that you can look back and say, and try to work hard at something before you become too old to enjoy it. That's another thing, that people don't talk about enough. But it's like I said, the people in it, and he's the IT guy, so it just makes perfect sense. So he's self-employed. He has bought his own ranch in West Texas. Couldn't be happier. with a little house on a ranch. He just wanted the land. He wanted to be away from people. And he's like, yeah, I live out here because I want to be away from people. I was like, hey, man, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, you know. But the actual survey was actually conducted by a software company called People Metrics. They revealed the technology industry employers are the most satisfied, 65% with their employers' response in handling the workforce, especially during the pandemic. So and because more and more tech companies just went virtual and are staying virtual. So more and more people are much more satisfied with that. And you work in corporate America, you don't have as many limitations saying, well, you have to live in this specific area. They don't care where you live at as long as the job gets done. You know what I mean? And an article stated that only 55% of 1,000 full-time workers polled are satisfied with how the company they work for reacted when the pandemic actually happened, because it shuttered many businesses, and a lot of people were just sent home, and they were able to telecommute, and they love it, and obviously they don't want to go back. Transportation industry workers are least satisfied with their employer's response to the pandemic crisis, with only 29% satisfied, and in any incidents, not all people are going to be satisfied, but I do happen to know a lot of people. You remember seeing the interview I did with my cousin, Corey, a lot of, especially if you were a CDL driver during the pandemic, you were making some serious money because the price of people per mileage went up for drivers, and they were just putting money away like it was nobody's business. I mean, I know my cousin was killing it to the point where he got close to the point where he can pay off his rig. That's a big deal in the transportation industry. So that's what matters at the end of the day. Not flossing, not trying to act like you're bigger and badder than everybody else, all that other nonsense. But truly, it really boils down to, not only are you satisfied with your life, but are you living life on your terms? A lot of workers are like free prisoners in a sense, because they're living their life on their boss's terms and the company's terms, and not living it on their terms. That's why I actually commend the people during the pandemic, because it's been over a year now. We're basically at the end of April. I commend the people that just looked at the pandemic as a new start. And a lot more people, whether they left the DMV area, whether they left New York, whether they left California, or whether they did a vice versa, they went to those specific areas. A lot of people just looked at that moment as it's time for a change. And I'm going to make it happen, and regardless of the situation, especially with a lot of uncertainty and unknown variables during, this time last year. I mean, April of 2020, we were still heavily into the lockdown, and a lot of us did not know where this train was going to go, if you know what I mean. Nothing was open. So I think restaurants only in most states from at least March 2020 until the summertime, everything was shut down nationwide. It wasn't until like the summertime where a lot of states like, hey, we're opening back up, like what was it, Florida and Texas and whatnot, and some other states. And I understood why. So like I said, I'm not going to debate that because there's no point of it. It's history now. But I will say that I commend the people that have pulled through this pandemic. I commend the people that are thriving during the pandemic. I commend people that made the moves during the pandemic. I commend the people that made the call, took the class, bought the stock, bought the cryptocurrency, opened the business. I commend people that made it happen and took the first step to try to live life on their terms and not their boss's terms. Nothing wrong with having a boss, not knocking that at all. But my mindset is, and I think most employers would agree with me on this one, if a person's working at an organization and they are not satisfied with being there, 9 times out of 10, I would imagine that employer doesn't want that person there because that person is not going to be fully engaged. A lot of times they'll do the job, but they're not going to be fully engaged. And anybody who's been in management or owns a company, they know the difference between a motivated employee and an unmotivated employee. The unmotivated employee will go this far at this level, like a snail's pace, and the motivated employee will go like that and whatnot. Make mistakes, fall down 7 times, get up 10, but they will plunge through and move forward. Why? Because they want to grow in the position. Another reason they might actually believe in the organization that they're working at. So, and to me, it's like, hey, if you are really that happy and that content, then that truly means that you're living life on your own terms. Like I said, everyone's different, but we do live in a time frame where I think more people need to stop looking at everything when it comes to making money outside of earned income as a scam, because I think the people like that are going to lose in the long run. Majority, not all, but a lot of people will lose in the long run. So when it comes to affiliate marketing, when it comes to owning a business, when it comes to selling products, I'm like Nike, and I just say, just do it right now, because now is the time to continuously start anew. Let's just put it like that. To my folks that are mentally and physically retired, I'm not talking to you. I'm just going to keep it real, because a lot of the people are very set in their ways and content, and that's fine. I'm talking to the people that want to grow and be not only think outside of the box, but live outside of the box, so that they can live life on their own terms and not their bosses. That's all I can say. When you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror, do you say to yourself, I'm just going to work this job and that's it? Or are you excited about the day? Are you saying, man, this is what I've been working hard for, XYZ, outside of just paying bills? I put the post up today on social media. I'm like, are you living in your purpose, or are you just paying bills? Like I said, only you can answer that question about your life. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm living in my purpose, not just paying bills and whatnot. I have so far to go, but I know that I'm living in it and I'm moving towards it. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to say, family. Hopefully you guys have a great night. Like I said, I'll be going live again tomorrow. Wasn't planning on going live this late, but sometimes you just got to get certain things off your chest. Everything is always greatly appreciated. Do the great 3 free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great evening. It's Wednesday, so we're, halfway through the week. We only got 2 more days left. And, hey, I'm looking forward to the weekend. The train is moving slow, but it's moving. And in the train of life, as long as it's not stopping and staying stopped, I think it's all good in the neighborhood. Don't forget to check out the online store, family. Support your local businesses. If you're interested in joining the GS Partners, Gold Standard Partners, if you're a crypto investor like myself, where you can buy cryptocurrency, buy a specific package if you want to, get a crypto card, be able to pay bills, go grocery shopping with it, all that good stuff, and be able to go from there. If not, it's all good in the neighborhood. But hey, we're living in a time where we're able to make money move together, family. Are you willing to make it with me? It's up to you. I can't make that decision for you, all right? So take care, family. See y'all tomorrow.